Guys, if you've done the very first lesson of Light and Salt Learning's crash course, you can actually handle this example, which was freaking everybody in our GED group out. So let me talk about it. This was a problem, and it was a multiple choice problem that somebody found in one of their assignments. And the answers were really interesting. And the reason why people were freaking out is because, well, as it turns out, none of these answers were correct. In fact, the answer to this, if someone says to you, add the cube root of 7, that's what this says, plus the square root of 7. If somebody asks you to do that, the correct answer is no. You can't. This cannot be simplified. And we actually learned about this way back in the very first lesson of the crash course when we talked about what it means to add. So I'm going to back up just a little bit with you, and let's remember, we talked about this. We talked about when we add things like dollars. Like we can add $3 and $1. We add dollars and dollars, we get dollars. We add, apples and apples. So 3 apples plus 1 apple. We get apples, 4 apples in this case. And we said that might seem like a really easy concept, but that's going to continue on no matter how hard your math gets. So 3 apples and 1 apple is 4 apples, but we can up that game. We can use, for example, x's, 3 x's and 1 single other x. That's just a single x right there. Well, that'll give us 4 x's, and it really doesn't matter how ugly this thing gets. I mean, I could have 3x squared yz cubes. That's disgusting. But if I just add it with another of the exact same disgusting thing, another x squared yz cubed, you might say there's no number in front of it. Yeah, as some of you guys were saying, when there's no number in front, that's a 1. So if I have 3 of something plus 1 of the same ugly something, well, guess what I have? 4 of whatever the heck that ugly, nasty, disgusting thing is. I really don't care. I really don't care how ugly the thing is, okay? If they're the same kinds of things, I can just add them together. So same thing here. We've got a problem. If they're not the same thing, which these aren't, and I'm about to show you why in a second. You're not going to be able to add them together. But what if they were? What if this first one, the 3 had been in front, like someone was saying this problem should have been? So if the 3 had been in front here, and I had 3 square roots of 7 plus another square root of 7, could I add that? Well, yeah, sure I could. Now I do have 4 square roots of 7. Or what if the 3 wasn't in front, but it was actually on both of them? I have a cube root of 7. Tucked in that little check mark, it means it's a cube root, not a square root. And I add it with another cube root of 7. Well, now I can see that I have 2 of the very same ugly thing adding together. So what do I have here? I have 2 ugly cube roots of 7. And again, you don't need to do this for the GED. This is beyond the level of the GED. But what I want to prove to you is addition is addition is addition is addition. Like honestly, it does not matter how ugly we get. Now let's compare that to math we can't do. Okay, we said $3 plus $1 is $4. But what if it didn't say $3 plus $1? What if it said $3 plus 1 cent? That would be silly to say if I add a penny into my pocket, my $3 turns into $4. That's nonsense. And it certainly doesn't turn into dollar cents. What am I going to have if you put $3 in my pocket and a penny? Well, I'm going to have $3 and a cent. Now, sometimes we do write it like this, but still, how do we say it? We say $3 and 1 cent. And same thing if I didn't have apples, but I had oranges. What's 3 apples plus 1 orange? It's not 4 apples, and it's not 4 apple oranges. It's 3 apples and an orange. That's what it is. I mean, I suppose if you called them both fruit, then we could say it's 4 fruit. But if I just say how many apples, how many oranges, well, we can't put apples and oranges together. So same thing here. If I had 3 X's and a Y, I wouldn't be able to simplify it. I'd say, no, can't add. Not the same kind of thing. They can't go. And then same thing here. If my uglies were two different varieties of uglies, like say this one was 3x squared y z cubed and the other one was 1, I don't know, x to the 4th, y to the 3rd, z to the 8th, doesn't matter. If they don't match perfectly, they can't add. So, guys, this is some number of cube root of 7. You might say, how many? Well, it's just 1. And it's adding together with some number of square roots of 7. How many? Well, it's just 1 if you don't see a number in front, as was pointed out. But I might have one of this, I have one of that. It's like I have one apple and I have one orange. I have one ugly thing and one other ugly thing. I can't add this. This is as simple as this is going to get. Whatever program you were using is a silly one, and I highly suggest that you do use the crash course because you would have learned all of this in just the first lesson. All right, you guys, love you all, and now I got to get to tutoring. Bye-bye.